Well, lads, it appears the United States in many ways may be turning into the United Kingdom. Absolutely pathetic. I hate it. Anyways, the thing that we need to be addressing here is how that could be happening and in what fashion. Well, it's in relation to free speech, you see, because apparently now, much like what we saw in England, if you were to make posts on social media that simply stand outside the standard norms of what society is supposed to be operating within, well, by all means, then we're going to either send the police or federal agents to your door to interrogate you about your post on social media. And we're now seeing exactly that happen in the United States as federal agents, FBI agents, in fact, have now shown up to the home of one Jeremy Kauffman in New Hampshire in response to a tweet that he put out. And the thing that I find most interesting about this is, yes, it was indeed an incredibly inflammatory post, but here's the deal that's most intriguing about that. He has the right to say it, even if it's wrong, absurd, brash, and disgusting. But the most interesting part to me is that this came out of the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire's Twitter account. And anyone who is familiar understands that, well, they don't like to toe the line of what's, let's say, the spectrum of acceptable and allowable opinion, which is exactly why I appreciate what they do so much, because they are consistently challenging the Overton window and attempting to smash the framework of it. And that is exactly what you see the leader of the Free State Project, Jeremy Kauffman, doing in this video, where he is clowning these federal agents. And as you see their response, it's very clear they know they're in the wrong, they will not give their names, and thus they're very clearly in a deep understanding of how far over the line they have crossed. Now let's go ahead and throw it into that clip of Jeremy Kauffman BTFOing these fucking feds.
Hey, how can I help you?
Hey there, is he Jeremy?
Yeah.
How are you?
Who are you?
I'm Agent O'Donnell with the FBI.
Can you give your full name, please?
I'm Agent O'Donnell with the FBI.
Is that sufficient to identify as the only one O'Donnell affiliated with the FBI?
In New Hampshire, yes.
Could you please state your full name, sir?
Could you please stop recording?
No. It's First Amendment right.
Okay.
What's your name, sir?
Could you stop recording, please?
Absolutely not. You can show me your name and identification, or I'm going to go back inside my house.
Okay.
I don't really want to broadcast my.
Oh, this is going out right after you guys
I
walk
know,
away.
So that's why I'm not going to.
So you can show me your name or ID, you can walk away.
We just want to talk about something.
I'm not going to talk to people who claim to be federal agents unless they can show me identification.
Handling it perfectly. This is exactly how you should be treating this. Record them at every single moment of the interaction that you have. And on top of that, consistently ask for the information as to who they are, why they're there, and you consistently probe. If you can take up more of the time in that interaction and you can interrogate them rather than them interrogating you, you can shift the power dynamic of your interaction with the federal agent that shows up at your home. Don't ask me how I know this.
Okay, well, you see our badges?
I need to see... Is your full name on that badge?
No.
I'd like to see something with your full name or I'm not going to talk to you.
I prefer you not to broadcast it.
This will be going online as soon as you walk away.
Well, all I want to do is talk to you about a post that was made, and if you
Well,
happen to be the one that made the post.
I want to talk to you about you guys coming here. Say you make a salary of, I don't know what, low 100K? You guys making six figures? Factor in 50% expenses,
yes.
overhead, maybe 100% expenses. Talking about burning a couple $100 an hour just here, let alone all the time you guys are spending to investigate something that you know is not against the law, right? Like you're familiar with. So then why would you come?
Because we wanted to make sure that there weren't any other
No, you're
threats.
coming because you're part of a regime that does this kind of thing when you know laws aren't being broken, and that's an embarrassment, man. Didn't you guys read the Constitution? Do you not believe in America? Like, how do you do your jobs and go home?
We appreciate it.
You're walking away. Because nothing we did is against the law, and you guys are fuckheads that try to act like bullies. And I hope you go home and are embarrassed. You can't even say your name on camera because you know that what you're doing is embarrassing. You know Americans that believe in the Constitution think you're laughable. And you go home and you think about what you did today. Go home and think about it, you cowards.
Walking away in shame. Oh, love to see
Drive
it.
away.
Thank you for your time.
You're not welcome. You should be embarrassed. Embarrassing. You guys are embarrassing.
Just love to see it. Jumping in now with Time magazine, we see the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire digs in amid backlash and law enforcement scrutiny after appearing to glorify political violence. And I'll let you go ahead and make up your own mind as to whether they were glorifying political violence, because it's certainly on the fence. But the thing that I would love to tackle here would be the nature of how LPNH operates real quick. And that would be the fact that they talk about how they're digging in amid the backlash from law enforcement and federal agencies. Yeah, and that's what they do every single time that they receive hatred and scrutiny like this. They will double, if not triple down, and dig in to take their position with an even firmer stance. And why is that? Well, it's because they've learned the lesson that Donald Trump presented to the political landscape, that in this finely constructed, ornately built china shop that is the American political scene, sometimes you need a brash bull to go ahead and walk headlong into it and destroy whatever is in their path. And that is exactly how the LPNH operates when it comes to the fact of tackling the spectrum of allowable opinion. Because as we know, if you step just a tick outside of it, you will be fried by the electric fence that is civil society for daring to just for a moment think outside the parameters of what you've had given to you, of what is allowed to be thought by that of civil people, which is quite fascinating to see considering the nature of how propaganda works in this fashion. But nonetheless, I digress. Let's jump in. Here we see a controversial social media post by the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, LPNH, has attracted the attention of state and federal law enforcement agencies. Local media has reported as the political group that had previously developed a reputation for riling Democrats, Republicans, and even other libertarians has dug in and embraced the attention it's receiving. Yes, absolutely. And something that I would actually like to tackle here would be the nature of how libertarian politics is actually working out in New Hampshire, because we see something called the Free State Project in New Hampshire, which is this massive collective of libertarians and anarchists effectively that are trying to overtake New Hampshire and turn it gold. And how are they doing this? Well, they're doing it subversively, in fact. And this is in one way that they are riling up both Democrats and Republicans. It's not just their rhetoric. It's because they're invading their political spaces and taking them over en masse, with many people filling a litany of different roles in New Hampshire politics that are libertarians, but are within the Democrat and Republican parties. And that is something that many should consider if they actually want to make real impact in the political landscape. And you could consider looking to someone like Justin Amash. You could look to someone like Rand Paul, Thomas Massey, Ron Paul to understand how it is that you would have to operate to get your ideas within the political landscape. And why this is so valuable as a libertarian who's operating off of first principles rather than the principles handed down to you by the party, it allows you to do something that is so incredibly valuable if you're actually trying to achieve more liberty and really challenge the established order that is the political framework that has been constructed. Libertarians have the capability of attacking the left from the left and the right from the right, because they're better left-wingers than the leftists and they're better right-wingers than the hardcore right-wingers. And why would that be? It's simply because of the standard of operating off of first principles. You can attack the left-wingers on the standards of human rights, and you can attack the right-wingers on the fundamental of defying the Constitution and the ethos of the United States. There are so many ways in which you can do this efficiently, and that is exactly why LPNH is making waves and has a reputation for riling up Democrats and Republicans, as well as even other libertarians. As we've seen, their rhetoric does not make some people within the party quite happy. But nonetheless, that doesn't matter, because even then, they're still drawing more eyes to libertarianism than people like Chase Oliver, who is the current frontrunner for the nomination to be the president if the Libertarians were to actually win the election, which of course we know is not going to happen, is a farce, is nonsensical, and I would be surprised if Chase even got 2% of the vote. Anyways, here we see LPNH posted to X on Sunday, anyone who murders Kamala Harris would be an American hero. Dog. Amid backlash, the account deleted the post, citing the social media platform's terms of service, but asserting it's a shame that even on a free speech website that libertarians cannot speak freely. And libertarians truly are the most oppressed minority. And then it goes on to talk about how X's rules prohibit explicit threatening and inciting, glorifying, or expressing a desire for violence, so they had to remove this tweet. But alas, that's why. They doubled down on the fact of stating it, but they didn't claim that they feel sorry for putting it out into the ether. Isn't that just something? And that specifically is exactly why you see an article like this being written about the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, the Free State Project, and what's going on with Jeremy Kauffman and feds recently visiting his home. Here we see the point of the Second Amendment is to shoot and kill tyrannous politicians, reads another post from Sunday that is still up on the LP New Hampshire's Twitter account. Chef's kiss, I absolutely agree. Now let's go ahead and jump in and see what else this article has for us. The post about Democratic presidential nominee Vice President Harris, which was deleted hours before former President and Republican nominee President Donald Trump was the subject of a second apparent assassination attempt, drew criticism from politicians and commentators across the spectrum. New Hampshire Republican Party Chairman Chris Ager condemned it in the strongest possible terms, writing on X that there is no room for this type of dialogue, period. Libertarian Party presidential candidate Chase Oliver said that the post was abhorrent and should never have been posted. He added, as libertarians, we condemn the use of force, whether committed by government, individuals, or other political entities, with the LPNH responding to Oliver's statement by calling him a leftist and a homophobic slur. And now here's that response from the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire to Chase Oliver. Fuck off and read any book on libertarianism, you infiltrating leftist bundle of sticks. Truly a wild tweet, but anyways, let's go ahead and get back to this article. The New Hampshire Department of Safety, which includes the state police and the New Hampshire Attorney General's office, told New Hampshire Public Radio on Monday that their agencies were in communication with our federal law enforcement partners about LPNH's posts. We are aware of the tweet the U.S. Attorney Office for New Hampshire told NBC 10 Boston on Monday, adding that although the department generally will not confirm or deny any specific investigation, threatening violence is a crime and those who do this will be investigated, prosecuted, and held to account in a court of law. The Secret Service similarly told the outlet that it is aware of the social media post made by the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, and as a matter of practice, we do not comment on matters involving protective intelligence. We can say, however, that the Secret Service investigates all threats related to our protectees. So not only, as we just read, is the Secret Service investigating and probing deeper, which they will be then looking into Jeremy Kauffman, his history, the history of the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, their rhetoric, as well as going in to investigate the Free State Project. This is going to be quite interesting to say the least. But the thing that I would like to go ahead and tackle would be this, that what Jeremy Kauffman said, it wasn't illegal, but here's the deal. That doesn't matter. And do you know why? It's because of the nature of the tumultuous political environment that we're in. And I wonder why it could possibly be that rhetoric such as this would possibly draw the eyes of federal agents. It's not like we've had 2 assassination attempts on a presidential candidate as of late. And while Jeremy is in the right to go ahead and say these things, you should not be surprised when the federal government shows up at your door. And I can guarantee you he most certainly was not. Here we see, finishing it off, Jeremy Kauffman, a member of the LPNH believed to be behind the party's X account, posted a video on Monday showing 2 men who said that they were with the FBI visiting the house. Just hours earlier, the LPNH account claimed no one affiliated with the group had been contacted by the Secret Service or the FBI, because nothing we said was illegal. But in this tumultuous political landscape, you should have known that someone was going to come, no matter the fact of if what you said was legal or not. All I want to do is talk to you about a post that was made, and if you happen to be the one who made the post, one of the men said. Kauffman, in his own retelling, mocked them until they left, and could be heard in the video saying, "Nothing we did is against the law. I hope you go home and are embarrassed." And this is what I love about the mainstream media, is the subtle framing that they try and give you. They say, well, Kauffman, in his own retelling, just mocked them until they left. And it's not a retelling, that's literally what happened. He mocked, shamed, belittled, and ridiculed them on repeat to the point where they were literally too embarrassed to actually give their own information. They wouldn't give their badge numbers, they wouldn't give their names. And that should say everything that these people know they are out of line. But does that matter to them? No, because they are nothing more than jackboot thugs for the regime. Alrighty, scrolling down we see, since then the LPNH account has come under fire for several occasions, including when it called for child labor to be legalized. It was basically making the point that children yearn for the mines, effectively the literal Minecraft meme, but of course that's an issue. Here we see it compared former President Abraham Lincoln to 9/11 mastermind Osama bin Laden, and when it mocked the death of former Senator John McCain from Arizona, Kauffman's personal account, which has over 130,000 followers and was temporarily suspended in 2022, and the LPNH account, which has over 70,000 70,000 followers, have also been frequently criticized for posts considered racist, anti-LGBTQ, and anti-Semitic. So as we can see, everything under the sun that we could possibly tar and feather our opposition with, that is exactly what they are. Also, they completely avoid the fact that Jeremy Kauffman is Jewish, but as you know, it must be the fact that he's just an anti-Semite, you see. Absolutely and utterly insane. Once again, the media cannot be taken seriously. Shocker, I know. I'm going to go ahead and call it there. Do not be surprised if you were to make a comment in relation to something similar to what Jeremy Kauffman here had said on social media, that you then have federal agents show up at your home. You should not be caught off guard by this, and in fact, you should anticipate it. And like I stated in the beginning, how it is that you need to reassert the power dynamic to control that interaction. I'm calling it there. Thank you for watching if you got this far. Thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. Tell me where I'm wrong in the comment section down below. Stay lovely, stay great, and most importantly, my friends, tell someone you love them. Peace out.